This week, we read Parashat Ki Tavo. The parasha contains a number of important passages, beginning with the Arami Oved Avi, the required recitation when bringing the first fruits to the temple. While this bit of text, which we also recite at the Seder, is very inspiring, I'd actually like to turn to a later part of the parsha, the bracha and the klala, the blessing and the curse that the tribes will recite on Har Gerizim and Har Eival upon entering the land of Israel. As I was looking through the text, I found this verse in the klala particularly striking. Yakecha Hashem b'shigaon uv'ivaron uv'timhon levav. God will strike you with madness, blindness, and dismay. If we do not follow God's word and commandments, we will be stricken in this manner. I don't believe that the Torah here is referring to physical blindness, but rather to something much deeper. In Kohelet, which we'll read in a few weeks on Sukkot, it's written that Hechacham einav berosho v'hakesil b'choshech holech. A wise man has his eyes in his head, whereas a fool walks in darkness. Similarly here, the Torah is referring to a deeper form of perception, a form of spiritual seeing. The verse from the Klala describes quite strikingly the reality experienced by Israel and many Jews around the world. October 7th caught us by surprise. In a moment, our presumed strength seemingly vanished, and we were vulnerable, and we had to respond. Our response, especially 2 years in, has been one of madness without an overall endgame. It has been one of blindness, with a refusal to see things any other way, and a refusal to see the Palestinians as human. All these actions and inactions have left us dismayed. 2 years on, hostages remain in Hamas captivity, and Gaza lies in ruins. We aren't the first to deal with these complexities of seeing. On Yom Kippur, at Mincha, we'll read from Sefer Yonah. While everyone often focuses on the big fish, I think this part of the story is a bit of a red herring. God tells Yonah to deliver his prophecy to Nineveh, that the people must repent or the city shall be destroyed. For some presently unstated reason, Yonah runs away from God, descending to Jaffa and embarking on a ship. As the seas become stormy, Yonah does not see the plight of his fellow shipmates. Instead, even as the crew are calling out to their idols, Yonah descends below deck to sleep. In his panic to flee his mission, Yonah is unable to see the suffering he has inflicted on those around him. Later in the book, after Yonah has been swallowed by the fish, regurgitated, and returned to dry land, he finally embarks on his journey to Nineveh. God's message is very well received by the population, and the people repent from the commoner all the way to the king. And Yonah is furious. He admits that he fled from God because he knew that God, in his mercy, would surely spare the people. Vayera el Yonah ra'a gedola vaychar lo, vaytpalel el Hashem vayomar, Ana Hashem, halo ze devari ad heyoti al admati, al ken kidamti livrach tarshisha, ki yadati, ki ata el chanun verachum, erech apayim verav chesed, v'nicham al hara'a, ve'ata Hashem, kachna et nafshi mimeni, ki tov moti mechayai. Yonah is so furious that the people have been spared by God's mercy that he would rather die than live. Why is this the case? It would appear that Yonah has a very clear idea of who the people of Nineveh are. They are sinners. They are evil. They are devoid of any moral good. All of them are sinners. Otherwise, surely they would have given up their evil ways. Surely they would have already repented. There are no innocents. They deserve no mercy. Sound familiar? Yonah was so certain of his preconceived notions that he was unable to see the people of Nineveh for who they really were. In his anger, he became mad. He was blind to their suffering and acted with dismay and a confused heart. This year, as we approach the high holidays, we need to figure out what sort of communities we seek to build. Do we want to follow in the footsteps of Yonah, acting based on preconceived notions about large groups of people? Or do we want to follow in the footsteps of Abraham, who desperately argued with God to save the people of Sodom and Amorah despite their terrible reputations? This year, Will we be governed by fear, madness, and tunnel vision, or will we reach out for peace with real people? These questions are critical. If we choose correctly, we will hopefully merit to follow the words of the Haftarah from Yeshayahu, which promise a time when we will truly be a light unto the nations, and when the land will no longer be filled with anger, and instead it will be filled with righteousness and with justice. At that time, we will surely be worthy of receiving God's full bracha. Thank you.